Oh, Lauren, Lauren, queen of the screen. With Botox so tight, you look like a dream. But your skin's so thin, it's like tissue paper. One wrong word and poof, you're a vapor. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night. But you swing at victims' kin, what a sight. From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren's so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. You dish out the drama, true crime with flair. But cross your highness, oh beware. Family members grieving, you pounce like a cat. Claws out and hissing, imagine that. Botox can't hide that frown upside down. Your kingdom's crumbling, you're losing your crown. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, toes all sore and red. From folks stepping on them, now you're crying in bed. People are mean, you wail through the night. But you swing at victims' skin, what a sight. From YouTube throne, Queen Lauren's so grand. Now cast to the peasants with pitchforks in hand. Once upon a vid, you ruled the true crime wave. Subs in the millions, oh what a rave. But thin skin and sore toes led to your fall. Now you're scrolling comments, ignored by all. Peasant life calls with no royal decree. Just Botox bills and reality TV. Hey, Lauren, Lauren, pack up your crown. The kingdom's evicting, you're heading downtown. Toes still aching, tears on your sheets. But hey, next adventure, true crime on the street. From queen to the fields with the mud and the muck. Lauren, oh Lauren, next time, better luck. Apologize, Lauren, to victims of our...
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. If you can hear me, can you put a 1 in the chat so I'll know? Sorry about yesterday. I ended up having quite an afternoon. So I apologize that I didn't make it back to do my live that I wanted to do. So here I am right now. So good morning, everybody. Tennessee, Team Doocy Doo, 222, Lady of Angels, welcome. Wicked Witches, welcome. I'm looking forward to the Wicked Part 2. Wicked Part 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time, but I also love The Wizard of Oz too. So definitely looking forward to the second installment. Hey, Lynn, good morning. It's great to see you. Lanny, welcome. Maria. Yeah, twins on the way. So we're very excited in my family that we will soon have 2 little angels. Hey, Zelda. Let's see. Oh, I'm so sorry about a bad night last night, Zelda. So sorry. Okay. All right. So I've got to hurry and get on the topic. We're not going to waste a lot of time chit-chatting, although it's wonderful to see everybody. So thank y'all for being here. I want to put up another visual because it's actually the point of the video today. And let's see where it is. And it is here. Okay. Now, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. And so I'm just going to jump right in kind of where I left off yesterday. Okay. And I am talking about Lauren and John Matthias, hidden true crime, lack of empathy, and handling very, very sensitive information on a public platform in a way that seems really just lack of awareness, right? Like zero insight. They have been talking about this terrible awful situation coming out of Oklahoma with Jesse Mack Butler, who is an admitted rapist. And the judge, who is also really involved with OSU's football program, gave him no time, even though he admitted it. And there are two victims. One of the victims nearly died from a crushed windpipe. And he got basically what amounts to a few months of community service. He does not have to register as a sex offender. And he recorded the rapes. He recorded it. And he was really mad at himself because one of the girls, as he rapes them, he chokes them. That's his particular fetish or kink. And he was mad because he forgot to record it. And so he choked her again to the level of unconsciousness so that he could get it on video. The judge let him off with a little slap on the wrist, presumably because they too are a big football fan coming out of the OSU program. And Jesse Mack Butler's father was top dog in the OSU football program. And Jesse Mack Butler himself happens to be a gifted football player, in addition to his claim for fame of rapist. And he got a couple of months of community service. He was facing decades in terms of the amount of time that he could have received. Originally, he was to stand trial as an adult. He was facing 70-something years in prison. And the judge, who's friendly to the OSU football program, put him back as a juvenile offender and gave him a couple of months of community service. No sex offender registry, nothing to alert future people about his level of dangerousness. Now, it's a horrific story, okay? Lauren and John Matthias chose to cover this story. I think that is very interesting because most true crime creators chose not to cover the story. I think part of that, at least for me, I know the details are too much. Now, I've given you a very watered down version, okay? The number of details made available to the public, even the impact statements by the victims themselves, the level of detail is far more than would ever be considered safe or healthy for social media, in my opinion. And I've made that very clear on my channel before. When I talk about these cases, I don't like the gruesome details. It is not because I think people are children and need to be protected, but it's my own comfort level. And my interest is really more about what is predisposing people to behave in such a way. What is going on with people in their childhood or their formative years that lead them to this point that they are willing to conduct such horrible crimes. For example, Lori Daybell, even though the details were absolutely astonishingly horrific, I found it incredibly interesting that indeed just about her entire family is demonstrating mental illness. Her mom sitting at the table with the entire family, chewing her food and then taking it out of her mouth, the masticated food out of her mouth and putting it back on her plate, so that by the end of the meal, she's got a plate full of chewed up food that she didn't swallow. And everyone in the family thought that was perfectly normal and okay. That's very interesting, isn't it? Training a family, teaching children and each other that reality doesn't matter. It's only appearances that matter. You don't have to be real about anything. I don't know. Maybe that is why Lauren Matthias identifies or over identifies with Lori Vallow. Maybe that's a reason why Lauren seems to have taken control of the story as if it were her own, and is now pushing out the real victims, the real family members that were victimized and hurt by Lori Vallow's actions. That Lauren doesn't want to allow Crescia to be Crescia. Oh, and Kay Woodcock, she's out too. She doesn't get to have her story either. You see, when Kay Woodcock told her story in a public forum, her own free will to tell it, Lauren Matthias, John Matthias, they put their blood money into action to silence Kay Woodcock. To say, oh, I'm sorry that you lost your beloved brother. I'm sorry that your grandchild, that your beloved, your son's son, I'm sorry that he died. I'm sorry, Tylee, the young girl that you came to love, I'm sorry that she's dead. Oh, I'm so sorry, but you don't get to tell your story because I, the great and powerful Lauren Matthias, I've decided this is my story to tell. And I don't give a shit if you were hurt, Kay. The only thing that matters is what me and John want. That's all that matters. Oh, and Crescia, you're out too. You're no longer in the family. You don't get to be part of the group of people that loved JJ and missed JJ. You're out. You don't get to have your story either. And then there was that pesky problem of Awen Reese, correct? Who, by the way, is a wonderful YouTube creator. I hope you will go to her channel and visit her channel. Awen is a problem, you see, for Lauren, because Awen was given the task of keeping Crescia out of the way as Lauren Matthias was busy taking over Colby Ryan's family. This is true. I'm not making anything up. And then, to my astonishment, I began to get comments on my channel, like, for example, oh, Crescia's jealous. Crescia is jealous of Lauren Matthias. Did y'all know that? Yeah, jealous. That's right. Lauren Matthias, what's wrong with you, honey? Like, really, there's something terribly wrong with you. And if you don't believe me, go over to Everyday with Jay. She has been reading Lauren Matthias's book in daily installments. The shallowness, the level of self-absorption is shocking, really. There's a never running diatribe of me, I keep thinking about Toby Keith's song. I want to talk about me, want to talk about I want to talk about number one. Oh my, me, oh my. That's all she talks about. Oh no, I'm sorry. She also talks quite a lot about Xanax. I don't know, Lauren. You might want to check on that, Maybe that's what happened, Lauren. Maybe you're in the Xanax bottle a little bit too much and it made you forget who you are. It made you forget that Kay and Larry Woodcock and Kresha and Colby, that they lost their family members. They did, not you. So if you want to know a bit more about Lauren Matthias before she tried to steal Kresha's family, go over and listen to Everyday with Jay, who's reading these, daily installments from this book that that Lauren self-published. All right. She has no publisher. She just dribbled her self-absorption all over the page and then self-published. Okay, nobody read it and said, wow, this is amazing. This is interesting. What a life you've led. Oh, you have something to say. The things that you could teach us. No, none of that happened. No. It's a glorified advertisement. In essence, she just kind of self-published her diary, if you will. All right. So there's that. Now then, hey, it's just Robbie. How are you? I want to point out that it's very culturally appropriate in Utah County, LDS culture, to just prescribe Xanax when people's lives are falling apart. No real fixing. It's just surface level pain numbing. Thank you, Robbie. I mean, look, the rest of the world learned, I'm talking about medical establishment, learned back in like the 80s and 90s that the little blue pill, not that blue pill, Xanax, that the little blue pill actually is highly addictive and just compounds one's problems. And they stopped prescribing at will. The LDS, however, well, we've come to know the LDS church, they don't like their members to make trouble, do they? They don't like it when an LDS member goes off the rails. I think that was the wording that was used. Am I right about that, Kresha? So when someone like Lauren goes off the rails, they just give them a bottle full of Xanax, something that'll make them go away and go to sleep and leave us alone and do not reflect poorly on the way that we, the LDS establishment, choose to make women live. Correct? All right. My dad and his brothers have all been on some dose of Xanax to deal with their tempers and anxiety. They're not LDS, but very much culturally so in Utah County. Yeah. And the whole world learned that this is actually a dirty, dangerous drug. And it is dirty because it stays in the system. And it creates so much, it disrupts the neurological chemistry so badly. So in as little as 3 days, you can develop a tolerance to the drug, which is what actually then leads down that path, the beautiful world of addiction. All right. Now then, what is my doctors at Kaiser looked at me like I had 3 heads when I told them. They laughed at me and gave me Prozac and said, life's tough, kid. There you go. Look, we know so much now about helping people get it together when things are getting difficult. For example, how many of you know that a 30-minute walk daily, 30 minutes, not 3 miles, not 10 miles, not a jog, 30-minute walk daily can actually normalize brain chemistry? We have mountains of research, but people want to walk away with the pill, right? The reality about Xanax is it is like, think of it like concentrated Jim Beam whiskey. Works on the same part of the brain, has the same effect. All right. I'm not promoting people to go drink. It's the exact opposite. I wish fewer of us drank. But it is, a highly addictive drug, highly concentrated, and it can really ruin your life. So be very, very careful. Even doctors know now. No, so Xanax, a benzodiazepine, they're very, 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 very useful when you have someone who is experiencing an immense acute stressor. So let's say somebody very close to you dies and you're very uncomfortable and trying to manage that emotional upheaval. Then one prescription taken a couple of days, that can be enough to sort of quiet things down so you can get out there and go for a 30-minute walk. Okay. I'm not kidding. I'm not belittling. I'm trying to give you very good, healthy information. 30-minute walk every day can really cut down on the need for even antidepressants and things like that. However, antidepressants have proven to be safe and, all that. Okay. Now then, I heard someone saying on Joe Rogan podcast, one can feel like working out is better or just as effective as an SSRI. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You know what else works as well as low dose SSRI? Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate. That's right. If you get that Hershey's baking chocolate and you put a tablespoon, which is 3 teaspoons, put a tablespoon of Hershey's dark chocolate in your coffee in the morning, guess what? You will begin to have the antidepressant effects that you get from SSRIs. All right. So now let's move past all that. Okay. RAIN. So RAIN is an organization that it's actually a national organization that works against the effects of sexual assault. They offer a 24/7 hotline that is in English and Spanish. The phone number is 800-656-HOPE. That's 4673. You can also text the word HOPE, HOPE, to text number 64673. And you can go to RAIN's website, and it is RAINN.org. And you can click Get Help Now, and it will actually open up a chat window for you. They are currently doing a fundraiser, and so I would encourage everybody. This is an organization that I donate to every year. So if you're interested, they do amazing, great work. They do a lot of different things. They're not simply running just a phone line. They are the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. They operate the National Sexual Assault Hotline. They do an immense amount of education throughout all 50 states. They educate on making healthier choices, making communities safer. They provide networks for people to receive support and services. They also have a political arm that works on policy and justice. They have local organizations throughout all 50 states. They also do an immense amount of training and consultant work to teach people to help in the community for people that may be dealing with the effects of sexual assault. They also have an alliance with your local police. And so usually they will be, if police are called for an assault, they will usually reach out and get a RAINN counselor to respond to help reduce the possibility of PTSD developing and such. So there are corporate partnerships, and they run all kinds of different foundations. And so this is the kind of phone number, Lauren and John Matthias, that one should be running along their banner when they are discussing rape cases. Okay, Lauren? And I don't think you, hold on just a minute and let me share my screen. All right. Now then, so this is the video that I was so horrified by. Okay. And this is sentencing scandal. It's scandalous. How did convicted predator walk free? Forensic psychologist, a forensic psychologist who claims he can't find a job. I don't know, John. What's that about? He unpacks the Jesse Mack Butler case. So basically what John Matthias does here is he reads the gruesome, gory details of the rapes of two minors, two high school students that were brutalized. One had a crushed windpipe who needed surgery. All right. Now, Lauren, help me understand something, sister. Why didn't you do this show exactly? Why would you put big ass John up there to read these horrifying details? Why would you do that? Why didn't you do that as a woman? Don't you feel like that would have created a safer environment, perhaps, for the thousands of people that would be listening to this drivel? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. The reason is because John, he gets all the views, doesn't he, Lauren? You don't. John does. Well, hold on a minute. Maybe we should say the psychologist does. It's come to my attention. It's my opinion. I am speculating that the world of true crime on YouTube, well, I think it is just full of lonely old women. I think the world of true crime is just full of lonely women who live alone, and they are hungry for the male voice. To be able to look at a man's countenance and let him speak and talk, so that this misogynistic group of people in your channel can say, oh, John, why, little old lady me, I'm just so happy that we've got a big, tough, strong man like John looking out for us. I believe that. I honestly believe that. I think the people that come to your channel, Lauren, they have zero interest in you, and they have every interest in the great and insightful psychologist who doesn't seem to know what he's doing from one psychologist to another. I'm having a hard time, Lauren, quite understanding how someone who is licensed in 2 states as a clinical psychologist, or is he clinical? Is he counseling? What is he exactly? That he can't find anybody who wants to give him a job? What do you mean? I turn contracts away a couple of times a week. I don't know what that means, that he can't find. John, you want to go to work for me? Because I got more work available than I know what to do with, sir. How is it you're not able to find a job? I'm just curious. Or was that bullshit? Is that a lie? I'm just trying to find out for the people who have come to the conclusion that Kresha and Kay Woodcock, that they're jealous of you guys. I mean, are you stupid? Really? Those of you that have come to my channel and you've left these little notes that say that Kresha or Kay, that they're jealous. They're just jealous of Lauren Matthias. What does that mean exactly? John, maybe with all of your immense wisdom and training, help me understand, John. What does that mean exactly? They're jealous. They didn't love JJ. Is that what that means? They didn't love JJ. They didn't love Charles Vallow. They didn't love Tylee. Is that what what does that mean when you say, when your wife says, Kresha's just jealous? She's just jealous. So they're pretending that they love their family members that were murdered? What? Really and truly? Those of you that are ride or die for this woman, Lauren Matthias, I want you to take a weekend away from all social media, and I want you to do some soul searching, okay? I want you to imagine that your grandchild, your best friend, brother, I want you to imagine that they're murdered by your sister-in-law. Just a weekend, that's all. Just 2 days, no TV, no computer, no smartphone. Just sit on your back porch and get fully immersed in this idea. My grandchild, my brother, who was like my best friend, the young girl that my brother, his stepdaughter, that my sister-in-law, his wife, killed them, and then ask myself, why in the hell would Kresha be jealous? Your idiot cult leader is trying to be Kresha. Lauren Matthias tried to take over Kay Woodcock's life. You're having trouble if you're still supporting this lady. You're confused. If you're one of the people that came to my channel and said, Kresha's just jealous, you need something stronger than Xanax. You need a deprogrammer. Because you're not thinking right. All right? Now, I'm struggling because you guys over in Hidden True Crime, you're so smart. Oh, what about Trisha of Web Sleuths? Trisha, you and I are going to have a conversation too. I'd like to invite you to my channel to have a little conversation about your undying love and devotion for these two clowns. But of course, you showed undying devotion to Mommy Rambling's blog as well, never not once asking my opinion, my story, what Mommy Ramblings and her flying monkeys did to me. You seem to have a very strange way of picking the people you're going to support, Trisha. But go right ahead, keep on. I mean, it looks like to me you got your hands full just managing the English language, don't you, sister? That you guys on Web Sleuths, you guys at Hidden True Crime, you care so much for victims, don't you? Oh my goodness, we are victims advocates. No speculation involved, right, Trisha? Did you listen to this live, Trisha? Did you notice that Lauren Matthias can't say anything? It's left up to the big, tough man to talk about the rapes of 2 children using objects, Trisha. That Lauren Matthias gave the job of reading the police report and the victims' impact statements of 2 teenage girls who were raped. They gave the job to John. Does that make sense to you, Trisha? Or Megan? Who can I point out, Megan came from the same family as Lori Vallow. Yep. She sat at the table and watched Aunt Janice masticate her food and leave it on the table, on the plate. And everybody acted like it was normal. That's who you're trusting, is Megan. What happened to all of you do-gooders? What happened to all of you guys screaming and yelling about victims' rights when it came to deciding that John Matthias should be the one to re-victimize rape victims by reading the most intimate, cruel details of what these 2 teenage girls experienced? You know what? You guys are full of shit. You don't believe anything you say. You are followers. You are sheeple. That's it. That's all you are, Trisha. You're a sheep. That's all you are. You've chosen your queen. Oh, a queen, by the way, who gets her hubby, the man. You see, she's the little lady. It's her job to be the little lady. The wisdom sits with the man, doesn't it? It's the man who is so important and smart and special. So he gets the big stories because nobody really gives a shit about what Lauren says. You want the views? You got to give it to the man, right? And that's the only reason, this is my guess. That's the only reason why Lauren put her makeup on. She may have even gotten some more filler. It looks like her lips are strangely out of line more than usual. So maybe her contribution to this video was just to get more filler to look good and leave it up to the man in black. We're going to give it to the man in black. And the man in black, he is going to be the one who's going to read the nasty, gory details of the rape the assault, the attempted murder of high school girls. How appropriate is that exactly? I'm just curious, side chat. Do you think that this was very sensitive on the part of Lauren, the beauty queen? Was it sensitive? Was it even remotely appropriate to read the details of this violent attempted murder of these girls? Was it even necessary even? Okay, maybe it was to understand how egregious the outcome was. However, does it make any sense that you would invite your husband to the channel to do the unholy reading of the details? Don't you think it would have been, don't you think it would have been more sensitive, perhaps, if Lauren had done the reading? I wouldn't do it at all in my channel. You know that, Lauren? You know that, John Matthias? I wouldn't do it at all. You want to know why, John Matthias? Because I work with real victims. That's why. So, Lauren, I'm just curious, honey. Why did you invite a man to come and talk about the rape of two high school girls? It's very strange, Lauren. It's very strange. Unless it's just blood money, unless it's just, hey, the old Matthias bottom line is not looking too hot right now after my 9-hour live of I'm a stalker. No, you don't have a stalker. You have a bunch of friends that you screwed over. That's what you got. You didn't have a stalker. You violated people, Lauren, and that makes people mad. Oh, and all this bullshit, baby Grayson, about how, oh, you shouldn't, it should be criminal to release private text. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. Okay, Grayson, let's grow up here for a minute, honey. Okay. Did you ever stop once during your programming by John Matthias? Did you ever once stop to ask the question, hey, I know that Christina is doing wrong by releasing the text messages, but what responsibility, Lauren, do you have that maybe you should not have written those text messages? Did you stop your programming to ask that question? Did she, John? Did she say, excuse me, doctor, please stop my cult programming for a moment. I have a question. If I'm worried about these texts being released out to the public, and we're public people, our jobs are public, shouldn't I just not write them? Shouldn't we just not write them? Is that correct? Right? What do you guys think? Do you think that adults, people that are healthy and responsible and have self-awareness, do you think that we stop and say to ourselves, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk shit about crime victims' families? If you think we should not write these texts, please put a 1. If you think we should be able to say whatever we want in text and it should be criminal for the person that we're texting to release them, put a 2. Because in my world, I just don't write or say things that I don't want other people to know. You know what I mean? And I, frankly, John Matthias said in his 4.5 hour live, he said something like, well, it's just like a little, blowing off steam. You got a group text and everybody gets together and they blow off steam, right? You're minimizing the bad behavior of your wife, John Matthias. And I find that quite shocking with a man of your esteem and high education. Did you know that you were doing that, John? Did you know that you were minimizing the bad behavior of your beloved? Did you know that? Or are you just now sitting there going, oh gosh, ooh, I probably shouldn't have said that. I looked like an idiot when I minimized my wife's bad behavior. You didn't, did you? Yeah, I didn't think so. No, Lauren, here's the trick, Lauren. You don't steal victims' families, okay? Leave the families alone. Leave them alone, Lauren. They're not yours. The loss says that they've experienced, they don't belong to you. You have no right to silence Kresha or Kay or Larry or Colby or any Brandy Vaughn. You have no right to any of these victims. None. In fact, here's a suggestion. Keep your grimy paws off of them. Stay away from the victims. Leave them in peace. Frank, your book, you seem like a woman, even at that young age, you seem like a woman who was in love with the idea of tragedy. You seemed like a woman in love with the idea of tragedy and that you were just starving to have some tragedy of your very own. Is that why you do what you do? Is that why you are now trying to influence Brandy Vaughn about her dead child? Is that why you told Awen Reese to keep Kresha on the rails, to not let her get off the rails? Is that you want to be the one that gets to have all of the sadness and grief about JJ and Tylee and Charles? Is that right? Have I got that right? It's obscene. You need a therapist. That's not okay. No one healthy wants to look at a family, at people that have lost beloveds, and then think, gosh, I wish that would happen to me. It's not fair. I don't ever get to be the victim. I have to make up my own victimhood. It's not fair. You even got your child involved, Lauren. You even tried to victimize your 8-year-old son. John, were you just an observer? Did it occur to you, Dr. Matthias, that it was inappropriate to tell your 8-year-old that people are trying to kill mommy? You didn't feel the need to stand up and say, okay, hold on, Lauren. Everybody, Lauren, go to your room. Okay. I want you to go to your room, take a Xanax, Lauren, go to bed. And then take your 8-year-old outside to throw the baseball, right? Maybe take him to a movie, go get ice cream, talk to him about roly-polies in the dirt, right? That's what you do with 8-year-old people, John. You instill confidence in their little brains. Who's the adult in your home? Oh, silly me. Grayson, right? You brought Grayson in to be the grown-up in your house. Is that accurate? I mean, it seems like it. The problem is that Grayson needs to be protected from you. Grayson is the one who needs her mom and dad to say, okay, Grayson, I think it's probably time for you to come home, honey. I know you love your job. I know you're devoted to your sister, Lauren, but I think you probably better come home. And you been thinking any more about college, sweetheart? Let's get on a healthier path, Grayson. Okay, because you're in the process of ruining and destroying your life right now with those two loons. Grayson needs to be protected. Someone needs to be a grown-up in this house. There's some realities. Lauren is not being stalked. Lauren is the aggressor, John. Lauren squealed with delight when she set up Christina, her friend, at CrimeCon in the hopes of public humiliation. Let me ask you something, great, wise forensic psychologist. Would you say that the goal for someone who's dealing with a dangerous, violent stalker is to publicly humiliate them? Would you say that is probably going to lead to a good outcome? Forensic psychologist, Dr. John. You, John, are like the cartoon characters, the Wile E. Coyote cartoons. There's your face, and then instead of eyes, you have big old green dollar signs there instead of eyeballs, right? Your good judgment and possibly education have been overshadowed by that $3 million. Am I right? All you can think of, Dr. John, is keeping that money train going, isn't it? You're watching your wife go off the rails. Oh, funny. Hey, calling Awen Reese. Awen, we've got another job for you, dear. Someone needs to keep Lauren from going off the rails. Kresha wasn't the problem after all, was she? We can easily see now who is going off the rails, okay? And John is angry with Lauren because she's messing up their blood money festival. It's all about the money. It's all about keeping the money coming in, isn't it? And I think for the subscribers, it's all about keeping their social group intact. Trisha's easy. That's not hard to see. Trisha chooses the bigger channel, right? If she finds herself in a situation, I'm talking about Trisha of Web Sleuths. If she finds herself in a situation where she needs to like show support for one side or the other, she will always go with the bigger channel. She'll never go on principle. Never. So she's going with Lauren and John Matthias because they're the bigger channel, right? I'm telling you, this whole thing, it just gets worse and worse and worse. The 9-hour live, the 4.5-hour counterbalance, which actually ended up being worse than the 9-hour live. It has now gone down to talking about the rapes of 2 teenage girls using the most exact, gory details as possible. Chosen to be told, the story to be told by a man rather than the available woman, and no sign anywhere of support references in the whole live. Oh, but we did have one advertise. You say, well, maybe they didn't put the information up about rain. Maybe they didn't do that because they just like, they didn't know how. They didn't really know how to do that. Like they didn't know in what way that what happened? They didn't know how to put that up. So so maybe that's why, sorry, I'm trying to do something here. So maybe that's why they didn't have a resource that has like phone numbers and text for the assault hotline, right? 24/7. Nothing. No mention of it. No direction. RAINN, RAINN.org. Nothing put up there at all. Maybe they didn't know how, but gosh, I don't know. They did know how to do something because, hold on. One moment. Here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go.
This type of non-consensual behavior and sexual activity, but he has to do it, and he's not going to let her go until he's finished, right? So clearly this is someone on a mission who's Butler, Jesse Butler's on a mission, and he's going to use the victim in any way he sees fit until he gets his way. That's what he's saying.
Oh, if your skin she even has a nice little placeholder there. She's still pretending to be at ABC, right? She's pretending that she works for CNN. Ad break. She knows how to put them in there. She knows how to put the information in. This must be the part where they're going to add the resources. If you've been triggered by this content, if you've been the victim of a rape, if your friend needs resources, here's who you can contact. Here's who to call, right? This is good. This will be the place. I mean, she even put the cute little red placard, ad break. I want to fulfill my delusional thought that I'm actually with a network. No, you're not, Lauren. You're no better than I am. You're no different than I am, lady. Oh, except you're prettier than me, aren't you?
Anything like mine. And honestly, like Dr. John's too, it needs extra love this time of year. Between the dry.
Oh, Dr. John's skin needs extra love. Yeah. Dr. John, the man, is sitting there describing the hellish moments of a young girl's life-threatening assault. And this is the part where they cut to a break for skin lotion so that Lauren can make money with ad placement, product placement. I'm curious. I'm going to take a minute, take a drink of my lemonade. I would like for you to leave a comment in the side chat. What is your opinion about Lauren's ad break, especially at this part of the story? The young girl says, no, please stop. I don't want to. And he says, you're not going anywhere until I'm finished. And she says, no, stop. I don't want to. And he says, I'm sorry I have to do this, but I'm going to finish. And then Dr. John gives us an interpretation of he's the man, Jesse Mac Butler is the man, and so he's going to use the girl to get his sexual jollies. That is the way that John Matthias interpreted what he was reading in the police report, and then they cut to an ad break. Now come into my channel and tell me that I'm just trying to get clicks and views. come into my channel and tell me this is not the place for this message. I'll bring you up on panel. We can talk about it face to face. I think this is exactly the moment for me yelling in anger. She sits there with her bumpy Juvederm lip, staring down as if she's scrolling on her phone or stares into the abyss, not even engaging. The tension between these two. The ad is disgraceful and insensitive. I completely agree, Kim. Thoughtful product placement? I would think you would be extra sensitive to that as a trained psychologist, especially. You know what, John? I find it absolutely nauseating that you allowed that self-absorbed clothes horse that you're married to even put this ad anywhere in this video. You two, you are frauds. You are frauds, both of you. They say beauty is only skin deep, but ugly goes to the bone. Advertising skincare while discussing the destruction of a young girl's life proves what only degenerates are capable of. Degenerates. You hear that, Trisha of Web Sleuths? Degenerates, Trisha. I was horrified at his ability to so easily read through the girl's statements. I'm actually 72 years old and had trouble reading them. I've been sheltered to a state like I've never seen girls fight. It's that Lauren Matthias asked her husband to read this as she sits there putting in her skincare product. I'm horrified. And I would be so humiliated for anyone to know that I was a hidden gem. I would be embarrassed to be seen over in this channel. If I were Trisha, I would completely denounce these two. Clearly, they have no ethics. It's really sick. The whole relationship has transactional value. It all seems transaction-based. She's the newsreader. He's the educated credibility. You can see this now. But KJ, I don't even look at him as credible anymore. Yeah, Silence of the Lambs kind of weirdness, right? This wasn't even the rape of a 45-year-old woman. You know what I'm talking? Look, I'm not minimizing we older ladies, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that as an older woman who had enjoyed healthy relationships with a spouse or, committed relationship or whatever, and you find yourself, unfortunately, the victim of an assault, there is at least some balance. There's some reality that you recognize what happened to me, that was not sexual. What happened to me was all out violence. I was assaulted. It has nothing to do with sexual. It is 100% a violent assault. But if you are a teenager, if you're a young person that doesn't have the knowledge of a healthy partnership, things get really, really weird trying to heal from something that is so confusing, because there is the shame and the embarrassment of, oh my gosh, this was a sexual assault. No, honey, was not a sexual assault. It was a violent assault, period. Whether you want to say, you want to define it as I was assaulted or I was sexually assaulted, it doesn't make any difference. Your experience is you are the victim of violence. That's what matters, right? But it's like John Matthias doesn't even understand that at all. And then Lauren pops up and says, "Oh, buy my cream. Buy my face cream. You can look as good as me and John. You will look as good as me and John look if you buy my face cream." Listen to this shit.
If your skin is anything like mine, and honestly, like Dr. John's too, it needs extra love this time of year.
All right, try something else, Lauren. Stop calling him Dr. John. You look stupid and it sounds stupid. He's a YouTube creator who has not shown an ounce of sensitivity to victims' families and apparently to the victims themselves. Yeah.
Between the dry
Buy
air, the
face
cold
cream,
weather, and the
y'all.
holiday chaos, it is so easy for
Reverse
your skin to feel dull
aging.
or stressed. That's why we both stick to OneSkin. Their moisturizers have become non-negotiable in our routine, especially the OS01 Powered Face Moisturizer. It just works. My makeup sits better, my skin looks smoother, and John keeps telling me his feels less tight and dry, which is a big win. At the heart of OneSkin is that patented OS01 peptide, their first ingredient, proven to target cells that cause aging, and everything is developed by.
I have a question. Has anyone looked into whether or not this is their brand, or if she is hawking product off the side? Is this the company that's given her some free product and said, "Oh, give us a plug and we'll give you this much money"? Or have they just bought a generic lotion and come up with a brand name and slapped it on the side? And now they're acting like, Lauren is Elizabeth Arden. Like, what is this exactly? Because here's my advice, okay? And frankly, Dr. John, I would think you would know this, okay? Here's my advice, all right? As a scientist, you see, when you have a PhD, that is a scientific degree. You have to envision your own research product. It has to make a contribution to science that has not been made before. You have to gather data. You have to analyze. You have to promote. You have to publish your work. You have to present it to the community and defend your work. You're a scientist. That PhD is, I'm a scientist, all right? So John is claiming to be a scientist. If you are having skin trouble, all right, whether it's wrinkles, whether it's dry skin, whether it is acne, what do you think a scientist does when they have skin trouble? Oh, they go to a dermatologist, right? Let me just ask you, if you're having skin trouble of any manner or sort, would you go to a dermatologist? If you would go to a dermatologist, put a 1. If you would go to Lauren Matthias for advice, put a 2. Just curious. I'll wait. You gonna go to a doctor, 1, or you gonna go to Lauren Matthias for advice? Oh, look, B. Frank is going to the doctor. Yep, I'm going to the doctor. Let me put my 1 in the side chat. Definitely going to the doctor. Gonna go to someone who knows, someone who's been trained, right? Someone who actually has knowledge and information. I damn sure am not going to the famous helium-filled head of Lauren Matthias for advice on my medical needs, okay? My guess, this one skincare is probably a generic lotion that is put out by companies that allow you to do marketing, like make a cute little emblem and come up with the name and slap it on their generic face lotion and sell it as your own. I haven't checked into it, but I have a feeling that someone in the side chat is going to do the research. Someone's going to look into it, and you're going to probably, I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess, because I've never seen this brand before, I'm going to guess it is a generic nothing lotion that Lauren has slapped a picture on and given it a name. It's going to be hers. Doesn't mean it's any good. It doesn't mean the lotion does anything. All right. In fact, dermatologists today tell you it's about the nutrients that you take. The quality of your skin is related to your nutrients. It is not anything you can put on your face. All right. So mixing sexual assault of minor girls in high school, no less, with you want to look like me and John, use our lotion. It is filthy. It is filthy. It is dirty. It is disgusting. I cannot hide my outrage. And if I were someone in the hidden true crime community or web sleuths, I would be so embarrassed after seeing this. I would be so embarrassed. These are the people, Trisha, that you're supporting. What happened to victims' rights, Trisha? What happened to just the facts, ma'am? Come on, Megan. Are you really seeing a big difference between Laura Matthias and the Lori Vallow you knew? Who in the world describes the brutal assault of two high school girls and then follows up with, oh, you want to look as good as me and John? Try our skincare. You even put in an ad break, Lauren. But I didn't see any self-help numbers. I didn't see any educational information, John Matthias, and you know what I'm talking about. Go back to your ethics manual, John. I didn't see any educational information about if you are the victim of a crime, how do you find help? Jealous? Kresh is jealous? You come into my channel and say, Kresh is jealous. You're insane. If you're still following this idea that talking about the brutal assault of two kids, young adults, and mixing it in with how to look pretty like me, and you think this is okay, you're having a problem with what I'm saying. You're having a problem with victims, families having the right to tell their story. You think those things are bad, but you're okay with this nonsense? Really? Okay. You can have it. You can have it. It is absolutely horrendous what these two are doing. Is this horrendous? And Lauren, I want to do this. Okay. I I'm going to put this on. First of all, I got to make the sound go away. And then I'm going to make it as fast as it will go. 4x speed. And I want you to keep your eye on Lauren. And I want you to see her contribution to this video. Like, I can't even understand why she's even there. Oh, because she had to sell her face cream, right? But notice the lack of engagement. Now, as he is speaking, he is giving the worst imaginable details of the assault of this high school girl. That the rapist should have been charged with attempted murder. All right. It crushed her windpipe. She nearly died. And to save her, they had to do surgery. That's what he's talking about right now. Now, why is Lauren there? I ask you. Why is she even there? Like, what is she doing there? Right? No phone numbers to help sexual assault victims. Nothing educational by Dr. John. Just the lurid, disgusting, horrible moments of the destruction of a young girl's soul. That's it. Now, why is Lauren even there? Why give this story to John Matthias to tell to the hidden gems? Why? Why, Trisha? Why? You stand in support of this. You support this, Trisha, really? Then I say that Web Sleuths is nothing. You're not real. You're full of it. You're not in support of victims' families. You're not. You're playing a game with people. The other thing I wanted to look at, so again, RAINN is National Sexual Assault Hotline, and they have a political branch to try to influence, laws and to get, obviously, Oklahoma needs some work. Their judges are a joke. But RAINN also works with law enforcement. They have outreach in hospitals and clinics. And so here is a phone number. You can also go to their website, rainn.org. All right. The other thing I want to share. Let me go back. Right. Add to the stage. Okay. So here is obviously, now this is laughable. Look how they're so busy, right? They're so studious. They're showing you that they should be taken seriously. But don't forget the ad for the face cream, no matter what you do. All right. Come on. I think I got to wash my screen. Okay. Let's take a few minutes and look at something. 11,000 views, 24,000, 46,000, 16,000, 9,000. Oh, we're back to 27,000. There's Dr. John. 28,000, Dr. John. This one's got Dr. John too. 29 is Dr. John. Wow, did she? That's an interview. That one's Dr. John. Wow, looks like Dr. John has lost his magic. What is that about, Dr. John? Where did all your views go? Look at this one. 1 month ago. That was the 9-hour when Dr. John did his 4.5-hour live answering the 9-hour stream. 194,000 views. And since then, all their videos are at around 30 to 40,000. 20, 30, 29,000. Even Dr. John's magic is not working. 27,000, 28,000, 24,000. Golly, that's a little surprising. These are the lives. So we got 37,000, 45,000, 40, and then the 9-hour was 440,000. But then watch this. This one has Colby and John on it for 60,000. 30, 27, 47, and then go all the way down. They're all around 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. And then you get to what? Oh, look, John appears. He gets 147,000 views. Weird, huh? Isn't that weird? That was 4 months ago. And then 40,000. Lori Daybell's sentencing was 123,000. And then what? John Matthias appears, 174,000. 20,000, 40,000, 50,000. See if, oh, here's John, 99,000. It was the John effect. Every time we get John on the stream, where is it? 142,000. Interesting, right? Although I'm surprised this morning to see that the John effect is gone. Interesting. Seems like people who really, were interested in what Dr. Matthias had to say, they had a lot of, maybe they believed in his credibility. Maybe now they're not so sure, right? Cash is king, regardless of how many traumatized victims get thrown under the bus. I mean, that's what it looks like. Well, I mean, the only problem with that, Alpha and Omega, is Dr. John told the internet that he couldn't find a job, which I thought was pretty strange. But that's what he said. He said he couldn't find a job, even with his rare skills, Alpha Omega. All right, only watched him for a short time. He came on, and I felt like I was listening to a dribble. But who doesn't love Brad Pitt, right? Come on. Dr. John's always a good time with a little bit of, Brad Pitt memorabilia. The channel thrived when Dr. Babe was on. Maybe Lauren's jealous of her husband. I just don't think she likes him. It doesn't look like she likes him, but who am I? I don't know them. I don't have any personal, knowledge of them. All right. So what did you guys think of this today? What is your opinion of the bringing a man on the channel to tell the story of 2 young women brutalized with an ad break for lotion, skincare? What do you think of that? I really want you to if I'm off base, if you disagree with my opinion, please put it on there. I want to know. Yeah, that 3.5 hour live of Lauren in defense of Lauren was embarrassing. Embarrassing. And I did want, hold on 1 minute. I want to look at whoops. Sorry. Went to the wrong thing. I wanted to look at the name of this lotion. I'm going to do some, I want to see. Okay, what's this called? What is it? OneSkin? OneSkin. All right, let's see what OneSkin is. What is OneSkin lotion? Oh, no way. No way. Holy hell. Look at this, guys. Oh my God. How can this be real? Share screen. Okay, I typed in what is OneSkin lotion. Okay, y'all see it? I typed in what is OneSkin lotion, and I come back, they sell it on Temu. Every market. Oh, Lauren. Damn, girl. Lauren, you. It's exactly what I said it is. Wow. You can buy OneSkin on from Temu for $27.50. But if you buy it at IB Spot, it's $221. If you buy it at Every Market, it's $127.52. If you buy it at eBay, it's $166. Gosh, that is must be some special cream. You think that that's her listing on Temu? I didn't know Temu would do private sellers. Yuck. No, thank you. I'll just keep going to my doctor and getting my skincare needs in the form of supplements, actually. Here, Amazon seems to be selling it. Let's see what we got here on Amazon. It didn't make the, hold on, didn't make the jump. I got to share it. Okay, so it's on Amazon for $120. Oh, look at the nice little travel kit. Yeah. $136. No, thank you. There's actually prescriptions that are a lot cheaper than that. Oh, look at that. They give you a supplement. You can buy it in bulk. I don't know. Anything of quality that I've ever seen before didn't come in bulk. Oh, that is not good. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, you see the baby stuff that I've been looking at to order. We're gonna need lots of baby stuff. Lots of baby stuff. Look at all that baby stuff I've been looking at. We're gonna need diapers. Lots of diapers. All right. Wow, that is so crazy. I saw her latest feed and her face was just like a statue. Looks like she's sampling her own stuff. I use Paula's Choice and have for years. It's really good. Dermatologist recommended. There you go, Kim. Go to the doctor, you guys. Okay. It's easy. Most of us have insurance now. You know, but dermatologists, this is what they do. Listen to them. That so many dishonest people selling, you know, skin lotions and things like that. I can't believe they sell this stuff on Temu. Hey, y'all, I ain't buying nothing from Temu and spreading on my face. No way. Let's see if OneSkin is OneSkin a marketing cream? Let's see. I didn't say Nu Skin. I said OneSkin. Not Nu Skin. OneSkin. This is Dr. Abs.
And seen lots of claims and thought, can I trust these claims? Is it too good to be true? Is this science actually something worthwhile? And been unsure whether it's actually worth buying. This is the video for you. I'm going to go through a skincare product, start to finish, analyzing it as much as I can from scratch, looking at all the claims behind it, looking at the so-called science behind it, in order to show you how a professional would do this. And hopefully you can take these principles and apply them to any time you look at buying a skincare product as well.
Looking at
now, the product which is on screen here, this is something which a friend of mine, Rosalie, sent me. And she said, what do you think of this? Is this something that I should start using? And I had a look through and very briefly, and I'm going to do that for you. So thank you to her for this video idea.
This
and
is
this
cool,
is
isn't it?
a website called oneskin.co. And as you can see, it's a relatively unique looking thing. It says target the root cause of skin aging with the OS1 peptide. Now, OS1 peptide. It's interesting that they've used that name because that is something which will not mean anything to most people watching this. And so sometimes marketers take advantage of that. And because it's something you haven't heard of or you don't understand, you kind of look at it in this weird and wonderful way and you think, oh, this might be something really innovative. So if it's something that they've made up to sound complicated, you know, for me, potentially that's a red flag, and we'll see why it may or may not be called that. Potentially for good reasons. Who knows? We'll have a look.
Question: are y'all interested in watching this or no? If you don't want to watch it, we can end now. If you do want to watch it, we'll watch it and see what we learn. If you want to watch it, put a 1. If you don't want to watch it, put a 2. Yeah, exactly, Alpha Omega. And we can all look at her face. We know Botox and filler when we see it, right? Okay, so people want to watch it. Okay. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm going to be quiet so I can learn. And I didn't even know this was here. So they may tell us it's a great cream. I don't know what they're going to say. So let's do it.
So OneSkin. It's the first ingredient scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age at the molecular level. Really? We will see. Let's see what we've got here. So the product that she actually wanted me to have a look at was this, the face product. So let's start by just analyzing the web page and see what's on there, because I'm going to guess that there is things on here which, it's full of marketing tricks that many companies use to make you think that you're buying something special when in fact you're not. We'll start from the bottom, work all the way down. So topical supplement. So topical means it's applied onto the skin. Supplement, I mean, that's typically used to refer to oral things, like oral supplements, like tablets. So topical supplement, it sounds like they're just trying to make the word skincare sound fancy. That for me, why don't you just call it skincare? That's what I think. Then essential moisturizer. I mean, moisturizers aren't essential at all. There's no such thing as an essential moisturizer whatsoever. If they want to define essential in this context, essential moisturizer, fine, go ahead. But I don't see any definition here. And the reason moisturizers aren't essential, biologically speaking, is because our cells create hydration through the form of things like hyaluronic acid, which can, through solvation shells and hydrate shells, actually create an element of hydration to the immediate vicinity. However, our cells know how to do that based on the ability to transcribe portions of the DNA, which code for proteins and modified proteins. And so it's not essential to put hydration in there because we produce it ourselves, okay? That's why there are such things as essential amino acids, because we can't produce those amino acids ourselves. There are such things as essential fatty acids, which we can't produce ourselves. But there's no such thing as essential carbohydrates, because we can produce carbohydrates from fats and amino acids if we really needed to. And so, we talk about essential nutrients, even carbs aren't part of those for our diet. So essential moisturizer, there's no such thing as an essential moisturizer, because creating hydration, which is what a moisturizer is for, is inherent within us as human beings. It's part of our DNA. So that, again, for me, that's a red flag. And it just sounds like a company that is trying to use fancy words to pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah, I don't trust that at all. Per skin longevity treatment, scientifically proven to target the root cause of skin aging, so skin feels healthier and looks younger. Okay, interesting. So the root cause of skin aging. Now, the root cause of aging is a real thing. Okay, that's something that happens within the cell. When we look at gray hair and wrinkles and all these things, that's not aging. That's the symptom of aging. And the aging process occurs around the DNA level, around the mitochondrial level. Mitochondrial dysfunction is one of if you wanted, you could actually define that as aging in a sense, as well as loss of quality and information in the DNA. So the root cause of skin aging, to me, it doesn't really mean anything, because the root cause of aging in general is the same as the root cause of skin aging, liver aging, heart aging, etc., because it's all the same thing in different contexts. So this is, for me, it's a little bit of a dodgy statement. So skin feels healthier and looks younger. Well, if you're targeting aging, it shouldn't just feel healthier and look younger. It should be healthier and look younger. So why are they not claiming for it to be healthier and younger? Why are they claiming it to feel healthier and just look younger? If it's truly treating aging, then it absolutely is, in a non-chronological context, in a subcellular context, it is healthier and it is younger, not just something that feels that way or looks that way. So I don't like this already, just from this small section here. Formulated as a daily moisturizer with our proprietary OS1 peptide for areas of your skin most exposed to environmental damage. Okay, so daily moisturizer, I never use a moisturizer and I never have dry skin. Okay, so most of my patients that I treat eventually end up not using moisturizer at all, and they never have dry skin. Going back to what I said about the cells knowing how to make their own hydration. You don't have to tell them how to do it. You just have to make sure they're fueled properly to be able to do the things they need to do. So proprietary OS1 peptide. So proprietary basically just means they're not releasing the details of this, as far as I'm aware anyway. So that is, again, something that is designed to try and create this aura of exclusivity. Because it makes it feel special, it makes it feel unique. Lots of things are proprietary, but it doesn't mean they're good. Lots of hedge funds have proprietary methods of trading financial markets. It doesn't mean they're more profitable than other hedge funds. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Lots of protein powders have proprietary blends in them. Doesn't mean they're actually any good for you. Two of the best protein powders for me are NutraBio and Transparent Labs, and there's nothing proprietary in them. They're very, very transparent, and yet they're some of the best out there. So proprietary, I think, is designed to make you think that this is something really special. Just because it's proprietary doesn't mean it's special. OS1 peptide, it's probably just a name that is shorter than the full chemical nomenclature. Areas of your skin that are most exposed to environmental damage, blah, 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 yes. Due to natural oils used in the formula, the scent of the product may vary. Fine. I'm guessing they haven't used fragrance, which is good. I respect that. I don't think you need fragrance biologically in there. Let's have a look at some of these images. The image section is something which really is a place that is rife for companies to pull the wool over your eyes. And let's see if I feel the same way about this. So let's look at some of these claims. So 96% improved skin evenness, radiance, pores, and firmness. Okay, so for me, that is a prime example of using things to sell products which don't really mean anything. So let's look at what that means. Skin evenness. What does skin evenness mean? Like, have you defined that on here? What are you measuring to define as skin evenness? It's nonsense to me. It doesn't mean anything because everyone will have their own interpretation of that word. Radiance, how are you defining radiance? What does that actually mean? If it's, this sort of glow, this redness to the skin, that's not necessarily a good thing. If you get punched in the face, you're going to be radiant because you're inflamed and swollen. That doesn't mean you've actually helped your skin. So radiance, I don't trust the use of that word. Evenness, I don't trust the use of that word. Pores, okay, well, how are you measuring that? Are you measuring, just the average size of the pores, perhaps? I don't know. I'd like to know. Firmness, yes, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You can measure that using cutometer devices. 87% reduction of fine lines and wrinkles. Okay, but what is the reduction? We have machines in clinical medicine, like there's something called a Visier by a company called Canfield, CAN Field, and it will show you the reduction in wrinkles. Yes, but is it wrinkle depth? Is it wrinkle length? Is it wrinkle numbers? These are all different things. And so the fact that it's not defined there, I am not really trusting of that. Yes, there's a little superscript of 01 in the corner here, and that refers to this study. And I'll get to that in a second. But you have to define this because people will interpret it completely differently. A lot of people in the public will look at that and think that means that portion of the face is now completely smooth. No, that's not what it means. It could mean that it's still wrinkled, but the wrinkle is slightly shallower. Like even if it's
okay, guys, I got news for you. I like this guy. I'm glad that we stumbled on this channel. I hope you guys will go over, subscribe, and watch some more of his stuff. But the truth is, age, years, that's what causes wrinkles. Depletion, that's what causes wrinkles. And you can take supplements and you can use certain types of lotions that will do certain things to sort of like moisturize, but you've got to take supplements to get the health back. And nothing short of a facelift is going to turn back the hands of time. The fillers can help a little bit, but they do modify the way your face looks. And the Botox can help. If you start Botox early enough, it can help not develop deep lines. But the reality is you need a good surgeon if you don't want to look old, because when we age, we look old. And I look at my wrinkles like badges of honor. Those are signs of wisdom that come from living a long, healthy, happy life, right? So, I do moisturize. I do take supplements specifically for my skin. And I get filler in my lips and up around my eyes. But that's it. No more. And I'm certainly not throwing away thousands of dollars on skin lotion other than what my dermatologist gives me.
1% shallower, which is not a lot. Technically, that's a reduction. And so you can claim that's an 87% reduction. For me, that's a misleading figure because you haven't defined anything. And look for this in any products from any manufacturer that you see. The lack of definition of terms gives them a license for you to misinterpret things as much as you like in such a way that leads you to buy the product. 100% improvement in skin smoothness and overall appearance. So what's that mean then? Does it mean it's 100% smooth, or 100% of patients experience some improvement in smoothness? If it's the latter, okay, fine. How much smoother was it, and how are you measuring the smoothness? Because it might be in the study quoted here in the bottom left. How many people are going to realistically be able to read that study properly? I don't think that's a lot, but I'm going to try and do that here in this video to show you how to go through these things. Skin smoothness plus overall appearance. I mean, what a generic way of measuring the efficacy of your product. Overall appearance. I mean, if you eat better in your diet, you're going to have an overall appearance improvement. It doesn't mean that it's the diet that did it. It could be that you're also exercising more.
That's
and
right.
that's improving.
Your
So overall
muscles are
appearance,
getting
any
stronger.
kind of skincare is probably going to improve overall appearance, because any kind of skincare is going to have at least some kind of minor benefit somewhere. So overall appearance, I don't think is a nice way of measuring things. It's not for me, it's not an important way of measuring anything, and yet it's taken quite a significant portion of this, marketing slide here. Let's have a look elsewhere. Before and after images. I mean, these are pretty useless most of the time because everyone's got a before and after image. Everyone's going to show you that there's some kind of improvement. That's not that difficult to do. And if we were to look, let's say, at this section here under the eye, is it really that much better? If anything, you could argue that this before image, it's a little bit lighter and blended with the skin more, whereas here it's much darker than the skin. Has it made that pigmentation worse? I don't know, but it's a question that's in my head. And if you look at this pigmentation here, it's a little bit close to skin in color, and now it's a little bit darker. Like, why would I want that for my skin? Before and after images are really not a good way because no one does them well enough, in my opinion. Let's have a look at the next one. Powered by OS1, the first peptide proven to reverse skin's biological age, preventing the accumulation of senescent cells. Yeah, senescent cells, that's part of aging. But we'll see. I'm not massively convinced on this. Let's have a look. Induce a significant increase in epidermal thickness of 23%. Okay, epidermal thickness increase, but you can get that from just using standard vitamin A, right? Vitamin A is a generic term. You've got retinol, you've got retinal, you've got retinoic acid. I've done videos on this. You can have a look. Vitamin A can act on retinoic acid receptors, and that can allow for stem cell differentiation or keratinocytic differentiation. I'll get there eventually. And that leads to epidermal thickness. You can use a 1 millimeter dermaroller from Amazon, microneedle yourself with no skincare once a week for 6 weeks, and you get, I think, close to a 600% epidermal thickness increase or a skin thickness increase. And that was from the Zvita 2014 study. If I remember in the edit, I'll put it in the link below. But 6 times thickness increase, like that's extraordinary. And this is 23%. With skincare. It's for me, that's just not impressive at all. Let's have a look what else there is. Brand partner, skin safe, trusted choice, designed to benefit all skin types. I mean, lots of things are for all skin types. Vitamin A is all skin types. Vitamin B3 is all skin types. Sun cream is all skin types. That's nothing unique, but it looks nice when you've got 2 badges on a picture instead of 1. Skin safe, trusted choice. Like, what are the criteria to be given this award? Like, what does trusted choice mean? Like, what boxes are they ticking that makes them think this is trustworthy? I don't know. So that means absolutely nothing to me. But again, it's a nice badge to have with a nice poster. Okay, your skin longevity routine. So this is the entire range, I see. So you got a refill pouch. That's nice. I like that. That's a really good idea. Reusable shell, and you just refill the thing inside. That's really good. Blah, blah, blah. Just customer. I don't pay any attention to customer reviews because everyone is so different. Like, if it works for someone, it might be terrible for someone else. Like, you've seen the same product get a great review and a terrible review from people. So I just don't trust the customer reviews. I prefer to look on the science, and that sort of trumps everything for me. Let's go back to this section here. Okay, so good face projects approved. Again, like I don't know what that means. I don't know what their criteria are. Is it the same as this one? Is it different? I'm not bothered about that. I'm not bothered about this. Plastic neutral, fine, but my skin has no concept of plastic neutrality. I'm more interested in the science. No idea what this rabbit thing is. Clinically tested to support the skin microbiome. I mean, lots of things will support the skin microbiome. Having good quality, raw milk is what is probably going to help that as well. I was presenting, for those who don't know, I was presenting at the Royal College in London a couple of weeks ago. And there I was speaking about the skin microbiome. And I was speaking alongside some really, really fantastic people. Anton Enright from the University of Cambridge, he did a really great presentation on his understanding of the skin microbiome. It's far better understanding than mine is, than most people's is, because that's all he does all day, every day. And the upshot of his presentation was that we really don't understand the skin microbiome. Like, we don't know how to manipulate it, how to support it, like all these things. And, he's doing that at the University of Cambridge. So clinical tests are to support the skin microbiome. We don't know what clinical tests are relevant and what supporting the microbiome actually means at this day and age. So I don't trust this either. But it's a nice, set of 5 badges to have on your page from a marketing perspective. Let's see what else. So this is the rest of the range. So far, I'm not impressed. And I hope you can see why. The only peptide scientifically proven to reverse skin aging, we've seen that. Switches off senescent cells associated with aging to help skin behave like its younger cells. We'll see. I mean, I'll tell you something about senescence. So it is. If you want to think of it as aging, you can think of it as that is the aging process. It's not gray hair and wrinkles, as I said. That's a symptom of aging. Now, if you really want to treat senescence, I've made videos about this in the past. I'm going to go on about it again. Sunekos, Sunekos. Now, I'm going to speak factually here, so you don't have to think that I'm biased or I've got an opinion, because I'm not going to give you an opinion. I'm just going to state fact. It is the most powerful anti-aging injectable ever created because it will literally work on senescence to the point where when you try and induce senescence, one context where you want to do that maximally is chemotherapy and cancer treatments because you want to kill the cells. Like with Synacos, it is so powerful that if you inject it into tissue and then subject that tissue to chemotherapy in the form of, say, doxorubicin, the tissue literally resists chemotherapy. Like if you genuinely, this company, if they genuinely think this is going to prevent senescence, why don't they put it in some tissue and then subject the tissue to chemotherapy in the form of doxorubicin? And then let's see the results if it really, really is anti-aging. Synacos has that pattern, and the data to prove that is publicly available. You're not relying on my opinion. It's just an absolute matter of fact that it can do that. So I'm not that believing of this statement. Boosted biomarkers of healthy skin, including collagen and hyaluronic acid biosynthesis. Again, that means nothing, right? What a lot of people don't realize is that there's 28 different types of collagen. You have to state which ones you're making. Most products only make type 1 and type 3, which is very easy to make. Like if you punch someone in the face, they're going to make that. If you cut yourself with a fork or a knife, that's going to make type 1 collagen in the form of a scar. Doesn't mean it's good because you've got scar tissue now. So you have to specify which types of collagen you're making. That I'm not impressed by this at all. Completely unimpressed, in fact. And hyaluronic acid biosynthesis. Yes, fine, but we make hyaluronic acid ourselves anyway, like using HAS 1, 2, and 3 in the skin. Hyaluronic synthase. It means nothing. Like how much more biosynthesis is there compared to baseline physiology? That's what's key. Like it might boost it, but if it does boost it, why don't you give me a figure to say how much more it boosts it by? If you really want to impress me, the fact that you haven't told me the size of the boost could be 1% more. Like why? How would 1% more be impressive? I don't really care about that. So again, I'm not impressed by this. Sports activation of cellular repair pathways. Right? Which pathways? Like which enzymes? I'm assuming you're referring to enzymes, enzymatic pathways. Which ones? Like tell me right there. Like otherwise, for me, that's just meaningless. Because lots of things support activation of cellular repair pathways. Caloric restriction is going to do it. Intermittent fasting is going to do it. Reducing the portion of your diet which is inflammatory, that's going to do it. And that might do it more than this product can. So you need to tell me how much. Like again, I'm not impressed at all by that.
So far, Mr. Cutie or Dr. Cutie isn't very impressed with the One Skin brand, is he? Remember, you can buy it at Temu.
Let's have a look. How to use. That's by the by. 95.5% of participants saw improved skin evenness, radiance, pores, and firmness. Okay, well, again, like, what does evenness mean? What does radiance mean? Pores, how are you measuring that? Is it with a Vizia? Firmness, as I said, pretty self-explanatory. These are the same stats as before. We've looked at this. Participants' skin barrier function improved by an average of 15%, shown in a 12-week study with 22 participants. I mean, 22 participants, it's not that impressive. Imagine there was a cancer treatment that was brought out nationally or internationally and then tested it on 22 people. Like, would you trust that? Imagine the COVID vaccine is going to be done on 22 people. Would you trust that if you were someone that got the vaccine? That's laughable. And you know what? Skin barrier function improvement. If you go to The Ordinary and buy the squalane oil, 100% plant-based squalane oil, and you just apply that on your face, like a few drops in the morning, a few drops in the evening, I would hazard a guess that in that same 12 weeks, you'll get an even higher barrier function improvement, but more than 15%. Yep. Just try it. It's like $6 or £8, maybe $10. And my bet would be that you would improve your barrier function by more than 15% for a fraction of the price.
These are like
this is laughable for me.
$300, guys.
Before, after,
stay away from it.
It's not a lot going on. Like it's slightly better, but like I would barely notice that unless I took a photo, and even in the photo, it's not that obvious. Yeah, I mean, look at the top here, right? Look at the creasing of the skin. Is the skin being contracted slightly here? I don't know. And then relaxed here on this side? I don't know. But I've got those questions, right?
Look,
and
let me show y'all something.
That's just not impressive for me.
Okay, I want you to pay attention. Look at this lady's eyebrow right here. You see it? You see how it comes straight down, right? Uh-oh. What happened over here to the eyebrow? Oh, it's up and to the right. Do you think someone is touching her temple, pulling the skin flat? If you think someone is pulling the skin flat, put a 1. If you think that this cream is so great that it can actually tighten up your skin like a facelift, put a 2. Hey, Crime Time Grind, welcome. Diane, good morning, my friend. I hope you are well today and warm. It's so cold. Of course, someone is pulling her eyebrow out. Look at it. You can see. These people are so unscrupulous. Ugh, so unscrupulous. My God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look. Look. See down here, everything is sort of hanging down, right? Even the creases on the eye are almost like parallel. The eyebrow way down. And notice these lines above the edge of the eyebrow. Now look at this picture. The lines are going up. You see the lines going up? The wrinkles? And these lines not there anymore. And the tip of the eyebrow has been pulled up. Maybe this lady is recovering from a facelift. I don't know. But no, it's her face, her skin is being pulled. It just is. If you can see it now that I've zoomed in so close, if you can see it, put a 1. Lauren must have used that all over her face. I'll tell you what Lauren used, okay? Lauren used about $37,000 for a full facelift, what they call a deep plane facelift, and she gets Botox and filler. Before her facelift, she was plumped so much with filler that she looked like a doll. Her face didn't look real. And it looked like to me that they melted the filler, and she's had a nice facelift now and everything looks like it's supposed to. But again, you can look like that if you got $37,000, $45,000 that you just got laying around and don't have anything to use it on, right? I myself will not be having a facelift, even though I was saving for a facelift. I'm not going to be doing it now because we're having twins. So I'm going to have to use all my facelift money for those baby twins. All right. Sorry. Being silly. But I'm not really. I got to buy diapers. I got to buy lots of diapers, guys.
For me, in the slightest. The photo is for a fraction of the price. Just try it. It's like £6 or £8, maybe $10. And my bet would be that you would improve your barrier function by more than 15% for a fraction of the price. This is laughable for me. I'm just not that impressed. And before, after, it's not a lot going on. Like, it's slightly better, but like I would barely notice that unless I took a photo. And even in the photo, it's not that obvious. Yeah, I mean, look at the top here, right? Look at the creasing of the skin. Is the skin being contracted slightly here? I don't know. And then relaxed here on this side? I don't know. But I've got those questions, right? And that's just not impressive for me in the slightest. If you look at before and afters of tretinoin as an example, right? Or Differin or some kind of strong vitamin A, I would hazard a guess again that you would get a better result than this, frankly. Let's have a look. And these are all just reviews. Okay, so I've also managed to get a hold of the paper. This is one of the details on the left here, as you can see.
Yes,
it's called double-blind, controlled skin clinical investigation of peptide OS1 for skin rejuvenation.
Double trouble.
It's published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, which is actually a pretty decent journal.
The money,
it's a relatively respectable journal. I'm surprised they managed to get it in here. But again, it doesn't necessarily mean the paper is any good or the data is any good. So let's see what's going on here. The URL, I think you might be able to see in the camera in the top, depending on the way I edit this. So that's what it's called. These are the authors. Straight away, I'm looking at this left section here. So correspondence, like this is quite a giveaway in some papers, right? You look at the email and it says alessandra@oneskin.co. And that makes sense. Like that's probably this Alessandra here, Alessandra Zanari. But look at the email URL @oneskin.co. So, I mean, some companies do have to do trials, and sometimes the first one is their own. That's fine. Like I'm not going to take that away from them. But this study, which we'll read it in a second, but if it's going to say this product is great and it was made by the company itself, then clearly there's a source of bias. Like if you're going to financially profit from a product being sold, and your study says that you should buy this product, like just use common sense. Like how much can you take from that? I don't know, because even if a company does it themselves, but the methodology is rigorous and completely bias free, then fine, you can still listen to that, and it genuinely is worth buying. But you've no idea. So, but it's a red flag. It's a question mark before I've even read the paper that it was done by the company. Like I'm looking at this in a different light than if it was a third party independent test straight away. So introduction, they're trying to measure senescence using the xenotherapeutic peptide OS1, aka PEP14. I'm guessing that means peptide 14 on skin. 12-week split phase. So split phase, so half the face received, one product and half the face received another. Double blinded. So that means that the patients didn't know which one was which, and the viewers, sorry, the assessors didn't know which one was which. Vehicle controlled. Okay, so that means one side of the face probably got an active ingredient and the other side didn't. 22 people. Okay, fine. I'll be fair for a second. I may have been a bit harsh. 22 people. Yes, it's not a lot at all, but I guess this is probably the first study, and you've always got to start somewhere. But even then, I probably wouldn't use a starting study as the one to sell the product with just 22 people. I would do a study, let's say with 22 people. If I had a good result, then I would expand it to really prove it beyond reasonable doubt. I would then go to maybe 100 people if I could, something along those lines, or multiple studies of 50 people, something like that. So OS1 applied to one side, other side received control, lacking the peptide. Yeah, fine. So exactly what I thought. So one side has the active ingredient, the other side doesn't. And then they assessed instrumental measurements, expert clinical grading. Okay, this is something you've got to understand. Instrumental measurements are fantastic. Like I credit the company for doing that. That is basically objective measurements, numbers. So there's no opinion involved. Like even if the company measured it or someone else measured it, bias free with bias, it's still going to give you the same answer. So that's objective instrumental measurements. Expert clinical grading. I mean, it might as well just be random person grading, frankly, because what you're doing is just visually assessing things. Does it look better? Does it look worse? So that's subjective. And if the rest of these researchers here work for the same company, or they're being funded by the same company, that expert grading may as well be called bias grading or potentially bias grading. So I would completely ignore that if it was me. And again, subjective questionnaires, like subjectivity is useless in this, because you can give a patient a placebo, i.e. lacking the active ingredient, and they might think it's the active ingredient, so they grade it better. That doesn't mean the active ingredient actually works. Like subjective questionnaires for me are one of the least, if not the least, sort of important way of measuring something, or at least useful. Whereas something like factually measuring things like instruments, histology slides, so you take a small biopsy, you put it under the microscope, you look for the actual collagen fibers, elastin fibers, all these new things. And then again, that's objective and factual. So the results, we'll look through the results in a second. I don't want to read the summary, because this, when you get a paper and you get this, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see my hand, but when you get this section on the front, a lot of people will just read this. But actually, this conclusion section is based on all the methodology. So you have to analyze the methodology to see if there's any flaws in it, because if there is, then the conclusion is flawed as well. So I'm not going to look at the results here. I'm actually going to look at the raw data. Conclusions, what are they concluding anyway? That it suggests the formulation promotes skin health by strengthening skin barrier, protecting against dehydration, reducing appearance of wrinkles, improving texture and radiance. I will be amazed if they define radiance here. The effects are attributed to the xenotherapeutic properties of OS1, reducing cell senescence and associated detrimental effects. Really, let's have a little look here. So if you're not English speaking, I know I spoke very quickly there, but you can read it yourself if you like. So the study overview. So generally in the introduction, that's basically them showing like why they've done this study. What made you want to do this? Now, at the end of the day, they're doing it because they want to make money. They're selling a product. That's all I need to know in this particular study. 12-week, double-blinded split face. Yes, we've said that already. Evaluated performance of OS1 formulation versus vehicle formulation. In case which formula is presented. So they're giving a full formula. So they applied the peptide-containing formula on the left and control formula on the right. The side of the face that received each treatment was withheld from participants. Good. That's the double-blind nature and researchers to ensure a double-blinded study regarding peptide treatment. Blah, blah, blah. Applicable government regulations. Okay. Subjects who met the inclusion criteria were instructed to use complete formulation in one half of the face twice a day for 12 weeks. While the other half did not get the active ingredient, it seems, but it was treated with an identical formulation lacking the OS1. They used a cleanser, the Cetaphil Gentle Cleanser, sunscreen, Neutrogena oil-free moisturizer SPF 35. So one side received the actual active ingredient product, and the other side just had this cleanser and this moisturizer. Oh no, wait, the cleanser and the moisturizer were provided for participants to use on both sides. Fine. And the other half just didn't have this OS1 peptide. Fine. So efficacy was determined from analysis, instrumental assessment, great, group blinded expert clinical grading, group blinded potentially biased expert clinical grading is more appropriate, and image analysis. Yeah, image analysis. I mean, again, it's a bit subjective. measured at baseline, 6 and 12 weeks, and subjective questionnaires, which I think are pretty useless. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at this then. So these are the instruments they use: a vapor meter, a Vizia scanner, like I said, Antera 3D, that's like a 3D scanner. Consumer perception. Okay, questionnaires were used. I don't want to know anything about the questionnaire, frankly. But what did they measure? Skin hydration. In your opinion, in what manner has the tested product improved the following skin parameters? Now, this is completely useless. Like, if you give this to a certain group of patients who've had a bit of skincare, like, they're going to assume it's made an impact. So there's a placebo effect straight away to both sides. So the parameters were skin hydration. Like, you have to define hydration. Some people will think their skin's dry when it's not. So how can you trust this opinion of skin hydration? Skin firmness / elasticity. Sorry, but they're two completely different things. Like, elasticity is the ability to return to its shape. Firmness is a sort of lack of ability to be deformed. They're very different things. Like, do the subjects even understand the difference between those things? Because most people will think they're the same thing. Skin radiance. Okay, if you asked your participants in the study to rank or to grade their opinion on radiance, what did you tell them your definition of radiance was to measure against? I can't see that anywhere. It's such an open-ended descriptor. It just means nothing to me. Skin roughness. Tone and texture are not skin roughness. Like, roughness can be defined as texture. I get it, but tone is like color. How is that anything to do with roughness? Eye bags. I mean, do most people know what an eye bag is? Like, are they aware of the anatomical formation of pseudotosis or pseudoherniation of the suborbicularis oculi fat pad? Like, that's really what an eye bag is, and it can come from things like the bony atrophy of the orbital floor, this of the orbital rim. That will mean something different to each person, frankly. Some people have eye bags and actually have hollows, not excess volume. A lightening of hyperpigmentation, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And general appearance. I mean, no, I'm just no. Overall satisfaction was graded 1 to 5, fine. That's pretty poor, because of all the things that I've just said. So I would place no emphasis on that whatsoever. Statistical analysis, fine. Everyone's going to be doing that. And the results of 25 patients were recruited. 25 female patients were recruited. Interesting that, in a lot of studies, in general, it's male participants. In skincare, it's female participants. Not saying there's anything wrong or right with that, but it's just interesting for me. Throughout study 3, mild adverse events were reported, and 2 participants actually discontinued their participation prior to study completion. Okay, this is quite important. So, one had bronchitis, which is not related to treatment. Fine, I'm not going to hold that against them. You can't control everything. Another experienced mild dryness and a rash on the cheek that lasted for 26 days, which was likely due to treatment and resolved after discontinuing its use. I mean, that's 1 in 22 people. Like, let's round it to 20 people. Like, that's potentially 5%, or because we're rounding it, between 4 and 5%. That's quite a high incidence rate of dryness and rash on the cheek that lasts for almost a month due to treatment. Like, I mean, are you surprised that this is not written in the first page and you have to delve into the paper to actually look at this sort of thing? Let's have a look. This participant was also required to discontinue the study. Third type participant experienced mild irritation on the cheek for 5 minutes after applying the product. They completed the study. I mean, if you're getting irritation on the cheek, like from applying this product, even if it's only for 5 minutes, I'm sorry, but I don't trust that. Like, what is in it that's causing irritation for 1 out of 22 people, which is equivalent to 4 to 5%? I assume my math is correct, which it might not be. Like, I'm not impressed by that at all. And then you've got these bits here where they're looking at the statistics. Let's leave that, because there are lies, there are damn lies in the statistics. Wrinkle indentation. Okay, they analyze wrinkle appearance as measured by indentation and skin roughness. So they're analyzing wrinkles by how indented the wrinkles are. So the wrinkle depth, I believe, is what they're referring to. Wrinkle indentation, yeah, fine. Fine. Representative images obtained from 2 participants exemplifying the superior beneficial effects of the OS1 containing formulation in wrinkle appearance are demonstrated. So 2 participants showed superior benefits of OS1 containing formulation. Why is it that 2 out of 22 showed exemplary superior beneficial effects? Why is it not 22 or 22 if it's really that good? If it's truly treating aging, then it should be universal. It shouldn't be irritating people. It shouldn't be giving people a rash on their cheek for a month. And it should be just 2 people that show really good results. I mean, you've got to, that's only a single sentence, but if you stop and think about it, that means a whole lot. And it's a really important sentence. And I hope you understand why it's so important to actually look into these things and really delve deep into the actual science behind things, because you find that you will have reasons to, or you may have reasons to think that companies are utterly full of stuff that I probably shouldn't say on here. I mean, improvement in skin texture of 5%. I mean, 5% improvement in skin texture. If you just use the 7% glycolic acid toner from The Ordinary for the same period of time, you probably get just the same amount of skin texture improvement, if not more. That's really not impressive for me. Skin smoothness presented a similar progressive improvement between baseline. Fine skin radiance. We determined the radiance/luminosity aspect of the participant's skin. If someone's inflamed, they're probably going to be more radiant. So it's not that impressive a thing to measure. If you measured that research, that female subject who had a rash on her skin for a month or almost a month, I'm sure they would have a radiant skin, a radiant glow, because it's quite red. Let me just adjust my headphones here. So, that doesn't mean that they're better off for being radiant. So I personally am ignoring radiance. I can make someone radiant by slapping them really hard and just looking at how red they go if we wanted. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go, data. 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Okay, so 6 weeks. So the gray is the vehicle formulation. So it didn't have the active ingredient, the peptide OS1, and this sort of light green, blue, turquoise color. I'm not going to get into argument what color that is. Formulation is one with the active ingredient. So percentage of subjects that observed improvement. So, I mean, after 6 weeks, the side without the active ingredient actually observed more skin hydration than with the active ingredient. I mean, so hang on, have I looked at this right? Percentage of subjects that observed improvement. Vehicle formulation in gray, formulation in green. So that does mean the people without the active ingredient had better hydration or better observations of hydration than people that did have the active ingredient. And that basically says don't buy the product or don't use the active ingredient. Same for skin firmness and elasticity, same for skin radiance, whatever that means. Skin roughness improved a bit, but again, I'm sure just a toner will do that. Eye bags, no difference. Lightening of hyperpigmentation, yes, the active ingredient showed some benefit. General appearance. So the people without the active ingredient had a higher amount of observed general appearance improvement than the people with the active ingredient. I mean, why would you even... What? This basically says that you're better off not using OS1, not using this so-called fancy ingredient they've got. Okay, let's look at 12 weeks. So, wow, skin hydration, no different. Skin firmness, elasticity, no different. Skin radiance, better without the active ingredient. Skin roughness, eye bags, lightening of hyperpigmentation, no difference. General appearance, a couple of percent better.
That's not good, is it?
Better, higher improvement than without the active ingredient.
Okay,
I mean,
ladies.
do you see now why this is so important to go into these?
All right, ladies, we're using science today, okay? Who wants to spend their $300 buying something that will, mess up your skin rather than improve your skin? If you want to mess up your skin and pay $300 for the privilege of doing that, put a 1. If you prefer to keep your $300 and just go see your dermatologist, save yourself some money, put a 2. Because I promise you, with just good old drugstore moisturizer and a healthy diet and walking 30 minutes a day, you will get better relief for your wrinkles. That is the truth. So, yeah, I'm not going to be buying this mess. Who's with me? I'm not buying it. Not after seeing the actual research, right? Okay. I chose to grow old gracefully. You and Pamela Sue Anderson, Doris Martin. Remember how beautiful Pamela Anderson was as a young woman? Well, she is every bit as beautiful today as an older woman. And she's got a lot more integrity and dignity, doesn't she? So I will join her. All right. Okay, everybody. John and Lauren don't believe in science. No, it's your good old-fashioned snake oil sales, right? Temu lotion. This explanation shows the utter contempt Lauren and John have for their gyms. Lauren could have researched this as simply as Jules did. You know what, y'all? Y'all watched it in real time, right? I made a couple of guesses about what it might be. Might be one of these marketing companies. You pick the product and then you put your own name and label on it. y'all saw, how long did it take to find this? Minutes, right? Minutes. Don't you think if you were going to endorse a product and you were going to interrupt the story of the rape of a minor, don't you think you would care enough to ask, okay, if I'm going to charge my gyms $200-$300 to buy this cream, maybe I ought to see if it works, right? She didn't even do that. The research for it is freely available out there. The reality is Pond's cream to clean your dried makeup off, right? Little bit of light moisturizer when you sleep, and then staying well hydrated, getting 30 minutes of walking in, and then taking, good, like having a healthy diet, you will reduce your wrinkles astronomically. You'll be shocked at how good you look. Muscles make the wrinkles disappear. So even if you go and lift weights or go for a walk, you're getting muscle tone back, and that helps lift the face up in a healthy way. So yeah, keep your $300 in your pocket, people. Okay, we're gonna need it for diapers. Damn it! No, I'm kidding. Kind of kidding. Okay, we are gonna do a diaper drive. Okay, those little twins are gonna go through hundreds and thousands of diapers before it's all over with. They have a 16-month-old, and then they're going to have these two little twins. We are going to be using diapers like crazy. All right. So I do need to go. I've got an 11 o'clock appointment that I have to do. And I will see you guys. I think so. Tomorrow is completely full. I don't have any free time tomorrow, but I think I have free time on Friday. So I will be back on Friday. All righty. And please, prayers for my daughter and the twins and her poor husband. He's going to need it. All right. Y'all have a wonderful day. And I think that we will go out on a high note. It will play our happy song. Okay. I'll talk to y'all Friday. Bye.
Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. stars shine bright. I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compare